good to see you here at the ABA conference. It's been a little while since we got together.
Yes.
And so how's your practice going down in Victoria?
My practice is going very well, and I'm very busy, and I get a bit exhausted because there's so much need
There is,
that I can't service.
Yeah, I've been to your practice and it's really lovely. I love what you've been doing with food medicine and how you have that little fridge in your front. That's
Three
now. It's got huge. And I love that you've made modified recipes for particular health reasons, and people can just come and buy it as they need for a prefabricated, nice. Is it mostly raw food?
It's all raw, totally raw.
Yeah, that's great. So what got you into integrative holistic medicine in the first place, Anne?
I only slid into it as a peripheral issue to my own health issues, and I needed to understand why I was sick, because I was sick all the time. And it was why me? Mm-hmm. And I hadn't understood the interaction between the spiritual, the physical demands, the dietary energy you can get, and it was only after starting to study acupuncture that I realised that there was a world of good ideas about how to maintain yourself. And of course that related to how I treated my animals.
And that journey, did that start at university level? Because I remember you knew Ian Gawler back then.
Yes, a different Ian.
Yeah, and you popped him on that some ideas that would help him heal his osteosarcoma, and he's still alive today doing amazing. I mean, he's one of the successes of integrative therapy and cancer treatment too.
Yes, Ian is fantastic, and there's anybody who watched him dying and then watched him coming back to life.
It's amazing.
It rewrote.
Because osteosarcoma is like the way that I saw a video of him, and he was skin and bones with secondary metastases of bony crunchy bits just under the skin, and he's just so remarkable. And so much of that is due to nutritional and
meditative practices.
Yes.
He puts meditation as a paramount, but he supported himself with very clean diet, and his wife Gail massaged and tried to break up the stagnation every day. She was really trying to move things, but his left kidney was completely turned off, and it was protruding out of his skeletal frame. He weighed 6.5 stone, and he was a 6'2" guy. Don't know how that relates to metric, but he was incredibly emaciated, and
you can probably find that on the internet.
Yeah, he was given less than 2 weeks to live. So now when people come into my clinic and they say, "Isn't there anything you can do?" There's always like this little thing in the back of your head. Well,
Ian did it.
Ian did it.
And I know you've had some amazing cancer cures as well. In some animals that you've treated, mostly dogs. Did you want to comment a bit on? I think it's a Bengal red.
Oh yes, we do rose Bengal injections, but we also do a naturopathic testing, and it's a type of testing I've sort of sorted out myself. So it's a hair testing, and what we do is we test up just a list of about 26 immune enhancers. Now, this is not
because
the limit.
There's a lot of things you can choose.
I know, it's just 26 things I'm used to.
Yes.
So we have these 26 things, and then we just test up what's okay for the dog
for that
and
particular patient.
will depress the cancer.
Right.
And that's how we operate. But before that, we've already looked at the dog. We've checked pulses. We've checked tongues. We've assessed the body from Western and from Eastern perspectives.
Would you like to maybe elaborate a little bit about, because some people watching this may not know what checking pulse is or checking tongues, and so the tongue is a diagnosis. I do it all the time because I also do a lot of dentistry, and I think the patterns that are on the tongue are really interesting, and they're just a quick diagnostic tool from a traditional Chinese medicine point of view, but also Blackmore's Celluloids uses the tongue diagnostics in a slightly different way. Yes, it's interesting to marry up that Western mineral therapy and the traditional Chinese medicine therapy.
I didn't know. I will look at that.
It's really interesting.
Tongues are accessible, and I explain to people that they do change a bit during the day, and they do look darker after a meal, but I want this good, strong, not angry. It's almost
So
like
not
a
bright.
carnation pink.
Right. A nice
I don't want it
not
red.
a dark red and not a purple or lavender colour.
Exactly. So we go over all those. I don't want it dry.
Yeah.
I don't want it glistening with mucus.
Right.
I want it just right.
Yeah.
And so-
and the thickness around the sides.
Yeah.
And the redness around the sides.
And we have food charts, and
Yes,
people have
yes.
smartphones.
Yes.
So I say today there's phlegm, you know,
Yes,
and
yes.
this is a chart that will remove damp and remove phlegm.
Oh, so you get
And
them
they
to
go
take a photo.
click, click,
And they
and I
choose
say
click
now
on there.
you know what to do with that.
That's great.
You go
That's
home,
great.
you
That's
put
a
it
good
on your
idea.
computer.
That's marrying up now of modern technology and what you could do.
Oh, it's easy.
Yes,
It's
yes,
easy,
yes.
and people find it tangible, and they're
Yes,
so
it's
proud.
yes, I
They
can do this.
They say we've had a really good tug all week. You know,
That's
so
right,
like-
because you've taught them. It is. I mean, a medicine person is really a teacher, isn't it? That's how it
Yeah.
should be. It's
Yes.
not about sickness; it's about health. And I
Yes.
think the whole medical industry has lost that, and it's about sickness. So even going to vet school or med school, it's like, oh, I've got a laryngitis case, or you know, it's not Mrs. Smith has laryngitis.
No.
You know, or I've got, oh yeah, that's that osteosarcoma case, you know, and so it's always focused on that problem and not how we can make the whole thing healthy. Whereas I
Yes.
think that might be a difference in how alternative and holistic practitioners start to focus. What can we do to balance this patient to make it more healthy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I just mention at that point
Yeah.
that modern medicine is it's been twisted in its approach by the fact that a lot of multinational research produces drugs, and those multinational drug people like to fund lectures.
Right.
And so an awful lot of the medical education is funded and produced by people organising
It's really,
drug sales.
Right, it's where the
So-
dollar has to go.
Yeah, it's
And
where the dollar
places
goes.
like this are so expensive, you know,
Yes.
and really it's not even feasible for the delegate to pay enough to cover the expenses of putting
No.
on a convention, and that really does make it hard. Really, we should just all sit under a tree and just talk to each other
Very good
and
idea.
find out what works, and nobody has to pay anything, and then the best quality medicine can come out of that. But it's
Yes,
not how
yeah, but
society
it's
works
not how
nowadays,
society
is
works.
it? Yeah.
And medicine itself is boxed in by the constant brainwashing of you use this for that, you use this for that. And they don't talk about how if you find yourself in this situation, you can actually back out of that
Right.
situation yourself.
What might you be nutritionally deficient in, or what
Yes.
does your body need so that that condition is no longer a problem?
Yes,
Right.
and I think the doctor should be saying, look, we'll help you back out of this situation. And
So
there's
here's-
web
here's your
pages, or
script.
there's,
Yeah,
or
get-
there's my
go
little
for a
food
run.
energetic, you know.
And eat this, breathe better, get some body work, and see me in 6 months.
So anyway, as soon as I started to do it, it worked.
Yes.
As soon as anybody starts to do it,
Yes.
it works.
Yes.
And I have never regarded myself as anything except a relatively ill-informed practitioner. But I've always lived by the principle of what you do, make sure it doesn't hurt the patient.
Right.
And then we can always build, and then I can get another good idea,
Yes.
and we can build on the good ideas, and we can move towards health.
Yes.
And the people nowadays, they're on the internet,
Yes.
and they come in with their own good
Practical.
ideas.
Yes.
So-
And some of it is good, but some of it not so.
yeah, I know, but we're
Yeah,
working
it's good.
in with it and
Let's see,
see,
what have you got on that list there? Oh, yes.
see where does
Well,
this
you
fit.
can't do onions in dogs, sorry. Yes, and flax oil doesn't work very well for cats, dear.
No.
That sort of thing. Yes.
No, and
tweak it, yeah.
I mean, you said I do mainly dogs, and yes, I do cats, and it's very hard work, and we do get some good successes with them. But probably the majority of cats will not have 4 or 5 different herbs
They
put down
don't
their
know,
throat.
they don't like the taste. Yeah, I've been trying to get the compounding chemist to make something that will go in the ear, but the compounds, the molecules are too big really
Yes.
to get absorbed transdermally, so
I
it's a
haven't tried
problem.
that.
Yeah. And cats don't like things up their bum, so that's the work.
No,
So yeah, he's got to be pelted.
I haven't tried that
I
either.
was just talking to Michelle from America, and she said that Vetra Science is making palatable Liwei Dihong one and a few other ones. So we'll be looking forward to that in the future.
Oh, that'd be
Fish
great.
flavoured little treats that are Chinese herbs. Yeah.
Yes.
So that'll be awesome. Yeah.
Oh,
I find putting butter on the cat's tongue helps a lot, or cream cheese, those two things, keeping them in the fridge and then just making them coat their tongue with that. And a lot of my clients are really good at pill popping those tiny little Chinese herbs now.
Yes.
So they go, butter, oh I like that. Yes. And then after probably a week or so, the cat likes the Chinese herbs. I guess it's positive reinforcement. They go, oh I love butter, I get butter. Oh good, fine.
Yeah.
But it doesn't always work. It can be hard. Yeah. And some dogs also don't like the texture of the little black pearls, the Chinese herbs. Even my own Kelpie, when I had her herbs, I put it in the food, and you think, oh yeah, that's good, and she's eating happily away. And I come out, and there's like 6 little rocks of tiny little Chinese pearls on the outside of the bowl because the texture's not right. It's like a little rock. So I find if you dissolve them, then that looks better. People are like, I'm crushing it up. It's really hard to crush. No, just dissolve them.
Yes. There's definitely ways and means.
Yeah, there is. So would you like to comment on maybe 1 or 2 of your most spectacular things that happened at work to a patient that he surprised you maybe?
Yes, that's fine. Cases come and cases go very fast.
Yes.
So I can tell you about last week's cases. A typical one would be a beautiful little white fluffy dog, and we all know that they have hormonal problems late in life. And this one was going to the eye specialist, and it was very fat, it was very depressed, it was not functioning well. Just not functioning well. Its right eye had become glaucomatous, and the drops that were used for the glaucoma treatment had caused a huge vascular reaction. I'm not exactly sure what they were a modern pilocarpine, but the eye was just like a chunk of meat. And they were saying, well, we have to take your eye out. And so she must have said, can't you suggest anything else? So they said, well, last ditch, you can go to see Neville. So it's probably... So that was 5 or 6 weeks before that I saw her. So I've given her herbs for the Cushing's and acupuncture almost every week to 10 days. And of course I gave her a herb which was kind to the eye. Currently the eye is 100%, there's no apparent glaucoma, there is no inflammation. They've been able to stop all the drops.
So rewarding, isn't it?
And the dog is so happy, it's lost a little bit of weight, it's suddenly functional again.
Because the cortisol stress down a bit.
Yes, and the smile on the owner's face is unbelievable.
Yeah, that is so rewarding. And I know your owners just love you to bits because you have the most amazing food brought in for lunchtime from all the people that you've helped.
Yeah, we do.
They just adore you.
There's too many chocolates, you know.
Go a bit lower. Put them in the freezer for now.
So we do also do cancers, and we do have failures. You know, let's not pretend that I can just wave a wand.
We can't be immortal, I hope.
No. But, for instance, there's a little schnauzer had a nasty sarcoma when it was 7 or 8 years old. It was operated on by a specialist who took out a bit of a rib and the sarcoma and said that was about all they could cope with. And sure enough, 6 months later, the sarcoma was back. And so, look, I'm not going to operate on that. That's already pushed the limits of what you can do. So that was treated just with this naturalistic test. And although sometimes with that situation with the sarcoma, we'll inject it with rosemary gall, and then we will overlay that with the immunological herbs. Anyway, we were lucky with that dog, and that dog is now about 17 years old. And it has had no cancers anywhere. And it's pretty old, it's pretty geriatric, and it does come through acupuncture. But it's a good age.
That's fantastic.
It's a good age.
So lucky.
And lovely clients, and they tell me that their attitude to their own health has changed.
That's also what I find. I have many clients too that come in and I say, well, I need you to do this slow cooked food or this raw food. And they're like, what? Can I just open it, pack it? I don't cook for myself. I don't do it. All right, look, if you do the slow cook, this is how you do it. And I give them a recipe. Just throw it all in, turn it on, go to bed, and in the morning you'll have meals for the whole week. And over a few years, they're now making juices for themselves. And that's why I actually became a naturopath, because I thought, I'll just make this all legal because everybody wants me to treat them at the same time. and then that way their health fund can pay for my consult for the human.
Yes.
Because that's what they want me to do, so okay, fine. So that's how it goes, yeah. But that's lovely, and you've really been one of the original holistic integrative vets in Australia, yes, and started the whole process.
We've been doing it for 20
yeah,
years.
and it's nice to see new young ones coming to the conference and
Yes.
appreciating the journey and what we can do to make more tools in our toolbox that goes for health. I mean, I'd like everybody to have this as part of their training and vet skill that
Like it here now. I
Yeah.
like the transformation now. It's
Yes.
happening.
Yes.
It's definitely happening.
Oh, it's so much better now than
I
it was
want it
20
now.
years ago. Yes.
I want medicine, the whole of medicine
Once
to be
you
like
see
it.
things, you don't understand why everybody else doesn't know it or doesn't see it, isn't it? I mean,
Yes. It doesn't work either.
yeah, and why there would be any resistance at all to things that are healthy and helpful and non-harmful. Like, why would there be any resistance to practicing medicine this way?
Quite agree.
Yeah.
Completely agree.
Yes, yes, thank you.